Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process on how to get to the library, how to log in, and how to search for an article, and how to um, pull a DOI a DOI for um, your citations, for your reference page. So we're going to go through all of that today. All right, so you'll recognize our main page. And again, remember, you can get to your learner modules, course overview from these buttons. You can also access things on the left-hand side, but where we're going to go here, the easiest way to access the library is using this left-hand side menu and go all the way to the bottom, and it says SDCC library. So this is where I want you to go in order to begin to do your research. So we're going to select that. And what it's going to do is it's going to still open up this next page. And you can actually, from here, you can actually start to do your search. The issue with this is this will pull up a whole bunch of stuff, which may be useful to you, may not be useful to you. It may pull it from newspapers. Remember, I told you that would not be an appropriate source because we're looking for peer-reviewed journal articles, right? It might pull some things from books. Or other magazines like Psychology Today, Time, Newsweek, it's going to pull from a bunch of different sources, right? And so we want to avoid that. So what I want to show you here is once you get to this page, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go to right here where it says EBSCO Articles, EBSCO Articles. And when you select this, it's going to open up another tab for you. And what this is, as a student, you have access to research articles. The library has access to thousands and thousands and thousands of research articles. Another reason why I don't want you to do like just a main Google search or some kind of search engine search is because articles cost money. So you might find a really good article and you're reading the abstract, but in order to get and download the full article, you might have to pay 40 bucks or subscribe to that journal in order to have access to it, which could be 200 bucks a year. So I don't want students paying any money for this. So I want you to access what is available to you for free in the City College Library. The other thing is, remember, I want you to be able to know that what you're selecting is a peer-reviewed journal article. And so by going through the library database, you can do that. The other thing I want you, another goal for this is so that you learn how to use the library database, because as you go through your academic career, this is really using your university or city college access, library access. It should be your first stop for anything, right? So depending on what you're writing in the future, your parameters may be a little broader than mine, but I would still say go to your university. If you go to San Diego State University or University of California, San Diego, or University of San Diego, wherever you go in the future, use the resources that they have put together for you. By the way, the librarians are really good here at City College to help you locate research articles if you have trouble, okay? But today, what I'm going to demonstrate is how to access the library database, okay? So what's really, really important here is logging in. Sometimes students have problems logging in. Sometimes if I forget to do my last name correctly, I will have problems logging in. So let's see if I have any problems logging in today. Because if I do, even on this recording, it can be beneficial because then you'll see how I recover from that, right? So the first thing you need to do is enter in your 10-digit college ID. And then you need to enter your last name as officially registered. So this is really, really important. So if you have a last name that maybe you have two last names, or maybe your last name is hyphenated, or you have a suffix like I do, in other words, I'm the second. So that's how I am registered. That was how I was registered as a student here. And that registration came over when I became a professor and instructor. So I have to enter in my last name just like this. And if I don't, I get an error message. So once you enter in your last name as registered, you select log on. I never save. And now it takes me to the EBSCO host. And this is where I can now begin to do a little bit of research. But what I want you to do in order to find your article, I want you, before you enter anything here, because still, even when you enter stuff here, this is going to pull from a whole bunch of different resources, including books, magazines, newspapers, things like that. So what I want you to do is I want you to come up here and I want you to select the Choose Databases link. So that's what we're going to do right now. Choose Databases. And you'll notice that automatically there are some databases that are already selected. Well, I don't want all those databases. So you could go through and you can actually individually unclick. That's a pain in the butt. I'm going to show you a little trick. So you see up here where it says select all, deselect all. If you hit select, it's going to automatically select all of them. And if you hit that again, it's going to deselect all of them. So now nothing has been selected. So it's a little shortcut. So you don't have to unselect everything just to get to where you want. This is what I want you to go. There's only one database that I want you to explore. And that database is right here along the right-hand side. Let's see, about, almost halfway down, but not quite. Maybe a third of the way down. You'll see, and you should be able to see my cursor circling it. It's the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection, right? And it also tells you there's like a little bit of a information on the side. So if in the future, if you're doing different research, you can actually explore what these actually mean. And so this will tell you what this, oops, sorry, it keeps going away, what this database is, right? So it's a comprehensive database covering information concerning topics in emotional and behavioral characteristics, psychiatry, psychology, mental processes, anthropology, right? Observational and experimental methods. And you'll notice at the very end, it tells you you have access to 400 journals. That is thousands and thousands of dollars that you do not have to pay, that you have access to. So that's the other reason why I want you to use this. Because remember, journals cost money, articles cost money. And so, you know, there are free ones out there. I'm not saying there aren't. There are some government sites that you could find psychology articles on and research, like from SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. They publish a lot of research, but I don't want you to go there either. I want you to learn how to use this database. All right, I'm beating a dead horse here. So we're going to select that. And you know it's selected because there will be a blue check mark. And once you select that, you're going to hit OK. Now, to confirm that, it will tell you that you're searching the psychology and behavioral sciences collection. Now you can type in your topic. But what I recommend doing, well, I'm just going to type in stages of change. So you'll notice once you start typing, it will, there's some predictive text, right? So maybe you're actually going to do stages of development, which is, our chapter 9, stages of change, which we've talked about, stages of grief, which we will be talking about. What is the stages of change model, or the stages of change, also known as the trans-theoretical model? I'm actually going to select that. And you'll see this is what happens when you select that. So you'll get a whole bunch of articles. Now up here, it will tell you what your results are. That's 961 articles that have been pulled, some of which may be academic journals, some of which may not be. So what you can do over here on the left-hand side, there's a limit to box. So you want to limit to full text. That way you're only getting the complete article. You'll notice that our range dropped from 900 articles to now 657 articles, right? So it's kind of cut down what you have to look for. You'll notice here there's like a Spanish version. Spanish versions it may be available too. Let's select peer reviewed, and it's going to update again, and it's dropped some more, right? So at this point, everything that's been selected is peer reviewed, and that's how you kind of guarantee that. And you'll also see that it is full text, and you'll see that there's a PDF version right here. The other thing that I really want you guys to kind of focus on is date ranges. So when you're doing research in the future, like let's say this really was a research paper and I wanted you to cover a topic and pull like several different articles, which I do not. Remember, I only want you to pull one. But let's say a future professor wants you to do that. Typically, the date range that you want for the most recent research is going to be the last 10 years. So you can actually move this slider, right? And we're going to move this slider to 2010. So we're going to go the last 11, 12 years. That would be fine too. Now, because we've changed the date range, we've selected peer reviewed, we've selected full text, look where our articles have shrunk down to now, 245. So now you know that your search results are the most recent, they're peer reviewed, and you have full access to the article. So I'm going to stop here for a moment and see if there are any questions on where I've went so far. All right. Now the next thing you'll want to do is kind of like begin your search. And sometimes you're going to have to, because not everything that pulls up, you're going to go, yeah, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, no, that's not what I'm looking for, right? So just realize that this part of what you're doing, you might have to look at a couple of different articles before you go, yeah, this is what I'm looking for, okay? So one of the ways you can do that is quickly, there's a couple of ways you can access this article. So you can come down here to full PDF text, which by the way, once you choose your article, you're going to want full PDF text because you're going to want to download that, okay? But you can just select this link here and it will take you to an overview page. And on the overview page, it will give you an abstract. And you can begin to read the abstract and kind of get an idea, is this what I'm looking for? And if it's not, you can just go back to the result list and it will take you back. and you can continue looking. All right, so I'm going to stop here for a second because I see a chat. I want to confirm whether or not this is a question. Okay, so not a question. Okay, so remember, if any questions come up, please feel free to put it in the chat. For verbal questions, I will give you an opportunity at the end of each section. All right, so I'm going to go through here and I'm going to look. Let's see if there's some things, something that piques my interest. Also, sometimes in your titles, you will see where one of the 4 main goals of psychology is actually listed in the title. For instance, article number 5 here, psychosocial predictors of 4 health promoting behaviors for cancer prevention using the stages of change trans-theoretical model. So right here already, you know that this article is going to address the prediction part of the 4 main goals of psychology. And also, in order to get there, chances are they're going to be describing what they're seeing and explaining why the behavior and the phenomenon happens, right? So just for fun, let's go ahead and look at this article. So let's say I look at it, and let's look at some things on this page. So if you select the link, you still have the option to see the full text in PDF. So that's still over here. You'll also see that it will kind of give you like a little bit of a preview of different images that you may want to look at to see, let's see what's going on there, right? This will also give you an opportunity to read the abstract and go, okay, does this kind of go along with what I'm thinking about what my topic is and what I'm interested in learning for this assignment, right? So let's say we read the, let's say you're interested in cancer prevention. Here's an example. I already know that there's a couple of nursing students in this class. So if you were interested as a nursing student and cancer research or cancer prevention or health or lifestyle change, this might be a really interesting article for you. So I'm going to use this article right now just as an example. So I'm going to say, you know what, I like this article. I want to read this article. I'm going to use this article. So how do I get it now? So here's how you get it. So you're going to go over here to this side and you're going to pull full text. And it's going to open up the actual article. Now you'll notice that there's a DOI here. What I want you to be aware of is that this DOI doesn't exactly match the DOI that you will get from using the City College library. This is why I was telling you guys, be careful, because when you do your reference page, right, I want to see the City College DOI. And I'm going to show you how to get that in just a second, okay? And I'm also going to show you a trick that I do when I'm doing research. So I've chosen this article. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to download it. So up here, it gives you the option to print, to download. You can also save this article because you're logged in. That means you can come back to it later. And also up here, it says download PDF. So you'll see there's a couple of different options, but you want to download the article so that you have complete access and control so that you can access it later. And you can also upload it as part of your assignment that was explained in the previous lecture and in a separate recording. So look for that recording in the research paper module. Okay, so it's a separate recording. So I'm just going to come over here and hit download PDF. So when I hit download PDF, it actually pulled up here in another tab. I don't really like that. So I'm going to hit download here, and I'm going to tell it to open in my PDF viewer. And then now I have control of it. Okay. And so this is actually now on my computer, just like my stages of change one was on my computer. But I've already saved that, so I'm going to close that. But here we are. So a lot of times what I like to do is, this is just the way I do it. I will actually kind of highlight this. It may or may not let you do this. I don't know what your computer software will look like, but this is what I generally do. And I will come up here and I will do a file, save as. Is it going to do it? File, let's try this again. Oops. I accidentally closed it. So let me open this up again. Sorry about that. See, that's the fun in doing live lectures and recording it. All right. So I forgot with my with my setup, it doesn't do a save as. It's a move to, which is similar to save as. So I'm going to choose the file that I want to move it to. I'm going to move it to my research file. You might have to go in and actually look for your folder. Because I was here recently, it pops up. But the point is you're going to save this and move it to a location where you're going to remember it. The other thing I recommend doing is naming it in such a way that you'll be able to find it. And what I usually will do is I will usually do like, article, and then I will, remember I copied the first part of the title. And so I just copied it and put it in there. So now the name of this that I'm saving says article, psychosocial predictors, blah, 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 right? And that's it. So now I've saved this on my computer. Okay. But let's go back. So now I have it. But Professor Grandstaff says he wants you to properly cite this as a city college retrieval, right? So how do we do that? I'm going to show you how to do that. So going back to the article, over here on the right-hand side, all the way over to the extreme right-hand side, you'll see there's like you can save it to your Google Drive. You can print the article. And remember, if you save it to your Google Drive, really, really important that when you upload this article, that you don't upload the link to your Google Drive, but that you actually upload the PDF copy. So I just want to make that very clear. So you can save it on your Google Drive, or you can save it on your hard drive like I did. You can print it, you can email it to yourself. You can add a folder, because you can log in, and you can when you log in, you can create your own folders. But I'm not going to do that. I always download to my own computer. But here you see this little document looking thing right here. If you put your cursor over it, it says cite, C-I-T-E. This is how you're going to get your reference. So when you click that, it's going to open up a citation format, and you'll see that there's all kinds of different ways to cite things. Well, what am I looking for? I am looking for APA 7th edition. So I'm scrolling to APA 7th edition, and you'll see right here, here's the DOI that I am looking for. This is how I'm going to know that you got it from the library database. So what I recommend doing at this point, I'm going to show you a little cheat sheet or or a shortcut that I like to do. I will sometimes open up a Word document or some kind of text document, whatever you have on your computer, and I will open up a new document, and I will save it as references, and I will save it in my research folder. I'll go here. So if you're doing your research, save it in your research folder. Da, 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 da. And by the way, this is how I do it. Whatever style or however it works for you, I don't care. I'm just kind of demonstrating this just to show you that it's probably a good idea at this point to save some of this stuff while you're doing the research. So I'm titling this Citations. And I'm going to hit save. And now what I can do is I can copy that and paste it there. And then you have, and let me make this bigger if I can. There we go. So you can see it a little better. Now, now you have the citation, and you're going to have all the aspects that I'm going to be looking for. Okay. Now, a couple of things that I want you guys to be aware of. Sometimes when you do the copy and paste, it doesn't exactly match APA formatting. So sometimes they actually do it wrong. So I want you guys just to make sure that when you format this for your final version of your paper, that you're following APA formatting. And we'll talk about that in the APA format lecture. But now I have this, it's saved. When I'm ready to do my citations page, I don't have to go looking for this. So that's just what I do. It's a little shortcut. You don't have to do it the way I just described. You don't have to do it that way at all. I'm just showing people what I like to do. And then that way you guarantee that when I grade your paper, I'm going to see what I'm looking for. Okay. Because you will lose points for not following instructions. So if you pull this from Google Scholar, and I can see that you pulled it from Google Scholar, you'll lose some points, not because it's not an appropriate paper, but because you didn't use the library database as instructed. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So that's how you can, I'm gonna close this again. So remember, citations, you go to this document and it will pull it up for you. And you can copy and paste it. I'm going to close it. There's our article. We've already saved it to our computer. It is now ready for upload, as was demonstrated in the previous recorded lecture. Does anyone have any questions? You can always go back to your result list. I will also show you another thing that you can do. So we kind of just did it by entering in this information and then using this side menu to choose our aspects. You can also do an advanced search. Some of you may want to do this, some of you may not. So like if I was doing an advanced search and I wanted to do on stages of change, but I wanted to narrow it down to smoking behavior, I might choose this to add to it. That might narrow down my search a little bit. Also down here for your search options, you would have the option of doing full text. You would have the option of choosing, let's see if it's, so you see you have lots of options here that could be pulled. You definitely don't want editorials. You don't want book reviews. You don't want that stuff. So we're going to select article, right? So you're going to choose article, and then you're going to choose peer reviewed. This is just another way to do what I showed you earlier. I think what I showed you earlier is actually a little easier. But if you want to search, if you want to refine your search even more, like if you're just interested in smoking cessation and the stages of change, then you would want to use this more advanced search. And by the way, as a little side note, stages of change and the trans-theoretical model of change originally started as the result of people looking at smoking cessation. That's why I chose that. I happen to know that information in that research. So if you were interested in that research, then you could select that. All right, and then once you're done, you can do a new search. If you were doing other researches, you can actually, just close your pages and you're done. You can go back to your home page where we started. And remember, when you go to submit your assignment, you're going to want to go to the research module. The research paper instructions module. This is where you're going to upload that article that was shown in a previous lecture. And then once you have written your paper, this is how you will submit your paper. You will upload your paper as a file attachment in the very similar way that you uploaded your article. And that concludes how to do this research. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Not hearing any, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. And this will be posted on Canvas later this upcoming weekend, because I need time to process it and stuff and review it, make sure it's good. I'm going to post it anyway, but I got to do some processing with it.